So I built an app called Cursor Motion Control. So I'm going to open it right now. This is it right here. I'm going to open it. So this is the login screen. So I'm going to put in my email address and my password. Then I'm going to click the login button and it's all logged in. So what this app does is that it allows you that while you're typing to move the cursor around depending on tilt or motion. So if you tilt the phone left, right, forward, or backwards, or rather left, right, up, or down, the cursor is going to move left, right, up, or down depending on the direction that you're tilting it. And if you do a motion to the left, right, it goes to the previous or the next word. And a double motion left goes to the beginning of the paragraph, and double motion right goes to the end of the paragraph. So that's how the application works. So before you can even use the app, you need to enable accessibility services, because moving the cursor around on any other app is an accessibility feature, because this cursor motion works on any other app on the Android phone. So I'll slowly scroll down. You can see over here where I explained the reason why we need accessibility service, which is over here. So it says, in order to use this app's feature of moving the phone's cursor through motion or tilt, you have to accept the accessibility service permission, because this is an accessibility feature. Without accepting this permission, this app's feature cannot be used. So the first step is to click on the allow accessibility service button, and then it explains to the user that how to enable the accessibility. Down here where it says 1, 2, or 3, it says that accessibility settings will open after clicking OK. Find and select the Cursor Motion Control app and installed apps and enable the accessibility service. And it asks them, are you sure? And explains to them the reason why it's needed. So you press OK, and it opens the accessibility settings page on the phone. Click on installed apps, go to Cursor Motion Control, and click on allow. And then the next thing you see, it says enable floating button. To enable cursor control with device motion, we need permission to display a floating button. This button will let you toggle motion control on or off, be movable anywhere on the screen, be easily dismissible. You can enable this permission in settings. So I'm just going to click not now for now. So it opens back the settings. So when the settings is open up, it shows that the accessibility service status is enabled. And to disable it, you just click on this disable button and it takes you back to the accessibility service settings. So the floating button is just that is just a way to let the user turn on or off the feature when they don't need it to be working while they're typing. So I'm gonna turn on the floating button, because without it, you have to come to the app every time you want to turn the feature on or off. So I'm gonna click on allow service. It shows me the same screen that it showed before. I'm gonna enable it. It's gonna tell me to go to settings to turn it on, and then I enable it over here, and then I go back. So everything is enabled. So at this moment, let me turn on tilt motion control and save the information. Without accepting accessibility services, you won't be able to save this information. So now it's the feature is on. So I'm just gonna go to WhatsApp, which is just what I use to just test the feature. So I'm going to open WhatsApp. I'm going to go to our ongoing conversation. And as you can see, this is the floating button called CMC. So now if I tilt my phone to the right, as you can see, the cursor is moving on its own, and then it stops when I go back to the initial position. Tilt it to the right, it keeps going, and then it stops when I move it to the initial position again. Tilt it to the to the right this time, and it's moving to the right, and then tilt it more, and then I can tilt to go up, and I can tilt to go down, and that's the motion control tilt with tilting. It also allows you to go to the next word through motion control without tilting. So this is it. It goes to the previous paragraph, then goes to the previous one again. So you can move it up or down using motion or tilt, and that's the basic feature of the app. When you press the floating button, then the feature is no longer working anymore. And that's how we turn it on or off. Now, last but not least, this app also comes with its own keyboard. So here in the settings screen, when you click on change keyboard to CMC, it takes you to this screen and explains to you to switch the keyboards. So you switch to CMC and then you finish. So when you switch to CMC and you go back to another app such as WhatsApp, as you can see, the floating button is no longer being displayed and you have your own keyboard here. So the feature, I believe, is automatically on. And to turn off the feature, you click on this floating button. Sorry, you click on this tilt button that's to the right of the settings button, and it turns it off. So now it's no longer working. Shows your toes to turn it back on. You click it again, and now it's on again, and it's working. You turn it off, and it stops. And that's how you work when you're using my own keyboard. Now, there's a situation where you may not have accepted the accessibility service and you want to use the feature on the keyboard. So let's disable accessibility service by turning it off. It's turned off. Now it's turned off, but I'm still using the CMC keyboard. And you'll notice that when I try to turn the service on the keyboard, it takes me to the screen that explains, in order to use CMC keyboard's cursor control with motion, you must first accept the accessibility service permission. This is because this is an accessibility service feature. So again, you open it. Again, when you press open accessibility settings, it explains to you how to go there. You press OK, it takes you there. You turn the feature on. And that's about it. So this is an accessibility feature because it's moving the cursor around through an accessibility service, monitoring on accessibility events. And when there is an event where the keyboard is open and the edit text is visible, then it'll automatically start processing whether or not the cursor is going to be moved, depending on tilt or motion. I think that's about it. There's other things that the app does, but that's beyond the scope of this recording. But basically, if you change back to another keyboard and you dismiss the floating button, then the floating button won't appear when you open the keyboard, and you would have to come back here to enable it. So that's just what I meant by that, and that's about it. Thank you.